The battle for many believers isn't always between good and evil, but between good and complacency. Settling for a life that doesn't align with God's purpose often keeps us from experiencing His best. We often trade the great plans God has for us for security, safety, and average dreams. Are you settling for less than what He intends? The most important question we need to ask ourselves is, are we truly satisfied with the life we're living, or is there something more God is calling us to? If where Jesus is calling you is better than where you are standing now, then the time to start moving is today, not tomorrow. When something is important enough to do tomorrow, it's crucial enough to start today. Begin the journey now. Change requires action. God has given us the responsibility to take the first step in faith and obedience. Jesus' call to set out into the deep reminds us that spiritual growth often requires stepping out of our comfort zones. Growth and change are about pursuing what God has placed in your heart, even if it's uncomfortable or challenging. Don't be overwhelmed by setting too many goals. Instead, focus on one or two areas where God is prompting you to grow this year. God doesn't just give us His promises. He calls us to fight for them, just as the Israelites fought for the promised land. Spiritual growth requires perseverance. It takes time for results to manifest, so don't give up when progress seems slow. Life is filled with challenges, disappointments, and hardships, but God's plans for us are always good. Trust that God will bring fruit even in seasons that feel barren and lifeless. Keep going. God's plans for us are filled with hope and a bright future, as promised in Jeremiah 29:11. If your life feels off track, the answer is simple: turn back to Jesus. He is always ready to welcome you with open arms. Jesus is not a harsh parent impossible to please. He is a loving Father who is proud of you and eager to walk with you. The journey with God is one of constant renewal and growth. Every step you take brings you closer to His purpose for your life. True satisfaction comes from aligning your life with God's will. Ask Him what He wants you to do and start working on it today. Life's challenges are opportunities to grow and trust God more deeply. Don't let them defeat you. God's timing is perfect. Trust Him even when the journey feels long and difficult. You are not alone. God walks with you in every season, offering strength and guidance. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole path. Trust God to lead the way. Your life has purpose. Seek God's guidance to discover and pursue it boldly. God's love for you is unconditional. No matter how far you've strayed, His arms are always open. Transformation begins when we surrender our plans to God and trust His will. The world may pull you in different directions, but God's path always leads to peace and fulfillment. Every small act of faith and obedience brings you closer to the life God has prepared for you. God's plans for your life are bigger than anything you can imagine. Take the first step in faith today. Thank you for watching Abiding in Christ. Remember, God has good plans for you. Trust Him, take the first step today, and experience the life He has prepared for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content.